Hello and welcome to another week of art with Miss Turner. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. All right, now we are in week of October 26th. Can you believe it? It's almost Halloween. And our I can statements, I can create a drawing of Frankenstein based on the artist Picasso and Cubism. And we're going to talk a little bit about Cubism in a moment. And I can create an original work of art using color, line, and shape. What will we do today? We're going to review our rules and expectations. Reading of the book, Frank Was a Monster Who Wanted to Dance by Keith Graves. Look at how lines, shapes, and color can be used to create a Frankenstein drawing based on Picasso. And look at the artists Picasso and Cubism and a quick demo, and you're off to create some art. Okay, let me get this up so we can see it better. Okay, art room rules. Attitude is a choice, so we need to be positive, respect everyone, and try your best. Don't forget to view the entire video and complete the assignment that I asked you to do. Submit your artwork to me via Class Dojo, Google Classroom, or email it to me at eturner@ecps.us. Offline learners can turn in your finished art to school when you get your new flash drives and return your work. Okay. What is a line? This is a quick review. We should all know this by now. Line is a path that starts with a point and continues. And it is one of the elements of art. And elements of art are what? The ingredients that make up art. And we talked about different types of line, like squiggly lines, polka dots, zigzag. Let's see, shape is the outline of an object and is also an element of art. And we talked about some basic geometric shapes like the triangle, rectangle, square, circle, oval, and diamond. And we also talked about organic shapes. Remember when we did our pumpkins, those were organic shapes. When you're thinking about leaves from trees, organic shapes, flowers, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, who is Pablo Picasso? Well, he was born long ago in 1881, and actually his birthday would be October 25th. And he passed away in 1973, and he's best known for his works of Cubist art. And Cubism, this is the definition. Formal definition is a style of art which aims to show all of the possible viewpoints of a person or an object all at once. So it kind of like mixes together puzzle pieces. That's an easier way to look at it. It is called Cubism because the items represented in the artworks look like they are made out of cubes and other geometric shapes. So you guys already know some basic geometric shapes. Here are some examples of Cubism. And these are portraits. They're like drawings or paintings of people. But you can see how they kind of look like they've been torn apart and put back together, and they don't exactly fit perfectly. Well, like in the pencil drawing to the left, you'll see like you can make out parts of an eye, parts of a nose, what you think is a mouth, but also there's two little chins there. So you've got different points of view that he's combined in one drawing. This is another one where you can kind of see basic shapes. You can make this out a little bit easier, but the nose is tricky. It could be like the profile or the side of the nose instead of seeing it straight on. The lips, you only see part of the lips, but they might be somewhere else hidden in the picture too. And here's another one that's in black and white. And this one we can make out a little bit easier. Sometimes you can make out all the parts, but it still is very rigid with the edges. They're not necessarily smoothed out. Like, you know, a head would be more of a egg shape or oval shape. Look at the head on this person. You can see like the edges are very sharp. Here are some examples of Picasso's Cubist paintings. And a lot of them were of women that he knew, like his mother or his wife. And look at the one on the left, how one eye is larger than the other. Her face looks like it's turned a little bit, but then we see the nostrils are straight on. So some of this looks kind of out of proportion, and that's kind of fun with his work. And they're very colorful too. And notice he uses a lot of pattern, and remember what pattern is? It's a repetition of shape or line or color, and you can see that in the outfit here with like a checkerboard type of pattern, even on the face. So you're going to have some fun with this too. And here in the middle, we've got a different type of portrait where, again, you've got one eye is way up high on the head, and then the other one is down low. It kind of reminds me of an African mask, where it's kind of exaggerated, meaning it's not in proportion. And the one to the right, this is why I was saying that's almost like a split, where you're seeing a side view, a profile, and you're also seeing a person straight on, like if you were looking them straight in the face. So pay attention to some of these little details. Okay, now we're going to listen to a story. I thought it would be fun to use Frankenstein as our theme because it's almost Halloween. Some people like to dress up like Frankenstein, and Frankenstein, think of him kind of like Pinocchio or a scarecrow, where it's like bits and pieces are put together. And this one is based on Frankenstein, but it's a fun story. Frank was a monster who wanted to dance. Let me get this going for us. Hold on just a second, guys. Whoop.
Who wanted to dance. Written and illustrated by Keith Graves. Frank was a monster who wanted to dance. I know I could boogie if they gave me a chance. So he put on his hat and his shoes made in France, and he opened a jar and put ants in his pants. He drove to the theater and jumped on stage. Then he danced like his shoe size instead of his...
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Internet is not cooperating, of course. Try one more time. Let me start from the beginning. Sorry, guys.
Frank was a monster who wanted to dance. Written and illustrated by Keith Graves. Frank was a monster who wanted to dance. I know I could boogie if they gave me a chance. So he put on his hat and his shoes made in France, and he opened a jar and put ants in his pants. He drove to the theater and jumped on stage. Then he danced like his shoe size instead of his age. Frank shook his shoulders and strutted his stuff. The audience screamed they couldn't get enough. Frank did a cartwheel. Frank did a flip. Suddenly his head began to unzip. Out flopped his brain, which plopped on the floor, which loosened his eyeball, which rolled out the door. After his arm fell out of his sleeve, the horrified audience started to leave. But Frank kept on dancing. He said, "What the heck?" and laughed as his head fell off of his neck. He said to himself with a one-eyed glance, I might be a monster, but man, can I dance. The end.
Okay, I thought that was a fun story. And of course, he's not very Cubist-like, but you can kind of see where parts of them were put together and how you can kind of tie this in with your drawing. Okay, I'm going to do a quick demo here. I'm going to show you different ways that you can draw a Frankenstein. And this is going to be inspired by Picasso. Okay, so you're using line, shape, and color. All right, your art does not have to look like mine, and you can use crayon, marker, paint, or whatever you have at home to decorate. Okay. All right, let me get this up. Okay, let me pause this for a second so we can look. Okay, remember I said that this is kind of combining what we've already been talking about with using basic geometric shapes or organic shapes. And keep in mind that this Frankenstein does not have to be all one color. It's kind of like the scarecrow was last week. If you did the scarecrow project, which I hope you did, remember that a scarecrow is kind of pieced together with things around the house, things that you're not using anymore. Well, the mad scientist who created the Frankenstein, or similar to Pinocchio, used whatever he had to create this creature. So his face might not all be the same color. He might have parts that don't necessarily fit. But you can already see that there are two different points of view here. Remember, with cubism, I've got the profile, which is like the side view of the creature, and then one straight on. And then the parts aren't necessarily the same side, like the bolts in his neck and his ears and his hair and his eyes. So there's one example. Here's another one. And see, I changed the shape, made it more of a rectangular shape. And I even created, I'm going to show you how to draw the female version, the Bride of Frankenstein, which is a female creature. And I also want to show you this. You can use 2 sheets of paper, tape it down the edge, tape it in the middle, and you'll have a very long sheet. And in this drawing, I did basically the same thing that I'm going to show you in all the rest, but I also added hands. So it looks like he's coming right towards you. And you can just trace your hands, or you could trace a friend's hands at home, or a family member's hands, or you could trace one of yours and one of maybe your mom or dad's or your brother or your sister. Because remember, it doesn't have to be in proportion. Okay, and you can see where I traced them. Or you could cut out your hands from another sheet of paper and tape it down. Okay, let's start with this one. Basic shape here of like a square, oval, also circles. And I'm showing you again on my dry erase board, but you want to draw it in pencil in case you need to erase. Here's my square. And I go ahead and divide up the middle page. This is a profile. See the nose in there. I'll go ahead and add an eye on one side. And I'm going to put my eye a little bit differently on the other side. Remember, it's parts of more than one creature put together. Mouth doesn't have to be perfect. Teeth don't need to be perfect on this. And think about what you're also going to be putting behind around your Frankenstein creature. I had ghosts and I had the moon and clouds and all kinds of things. Adding the hair. You could do curls if you wanted to. It does not, and I'm using zigzag to create some of these lines for the hair. And these are stitches. So it's just dashes on a line. As he's supposed to look kind of like he's been sewn together, almost like the scarecrow. And the inside of my eyes, he's looking kind of silly, isn't he? A curve on one side and a rectangle on the other. Okay, and you could give him a long neck if you want to, or a short neck. you wanted to draw the whole body, you could, because you can make it kind of blocky, you know, like squares and rectangles. But I concentrated more on from the shoulders up. There's the bolts. And remember, they don't have to be the same size, and they almost look like a T that's sitting on their side. And can decorate the shirt. Add some clouds in there. I just want you to have fun with it, but remember that you're using a variety of line, shape, and color. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way, I just made the head a little bit larger. I included the lightning in that too. I'm going to show you how to do the female version real quick. Okay, I made a simple shape there, and I'm dividing up the middle. Looks like a profile. I went ahead and added my mouth and put an eye up high with eyelashes. Might make the other one a bit larger with eyelashes. And you notice how each side looks slightly different in some of the features. Again, I put some stitches so she looks like she's been sewn together. And neck. Finish off. It almost looks like lightning bolt in her hair. And eyebrows, they don't have to match either. I think these are kind of fun because they do look a little silly. And I could have given her teeth too. And that one I didn't really color or anything. And just remember when you're doing this, if you do attach to, think about all the details and things you're going to add in there and add lots of color to it as well. Okay? So that's all I have for that. Now you're going to be creating the drawing of Frankenstein in the style of Picasso's Cubism. Okay? Make sure that you include lines, shape, and color. Online learners, you're going to take a picture and post to Google Classroom or ClassDojo or email it to me at this email. Offline learners must turn in their finished artwork when they return to school to pick up another flash drive. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me at this number, 563-2238. Okay, so all you're going to do is create an original work of art using supplies from home. And it's all about Frankenstein this week. I cannot wait to see your artwork. I can't wait till you guys come back to school. If you're coming back to school face to face, can't wait to see you. But I do want to see your art because I can't give you credit for your work if I don't see it. Okay? Have a great week. I love you. I miss you and can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye for now.